for the camera.
Dee. Come on.
No, okay.
Every time. She's very lax today. It's cool. Say hey, baby.
Alright guys, well, that's the house. You've seen what we do in the office, and that's been where we get most of our content in, but this is where we get the energy to make the content. So.
Yeah, we got a comment saying we should do a house tour.
Hey guys, welcome to this year's videos with the NFL preseason predictions. Got a couple changes to the format that we had compared to last year that I'd like to go over really quickly. We have new camera angles. We're going with a podcasting style with attached webcams for all of the participants. I think it'll be a little bit more engaging than just having blank graphics with just audio behind it. I think it'll be a little bit more fun to see facial expressions and reactions to hot takes and when we think someone's going crazy. So hope that you enjoy this new camera format, and we'll be experimenting more with it on other video types on the channel as we go, starting to understand how to use it. Again, we've also gone up in participants from just myself and Ben to also including DJ and Griffin. So we've got a panel of 4 people to go over all these teams and all the craziness that I'm sure is going to unfold this season. When some things change, other things stay the same. You'll still be able to see our schedule predictions, win-loss records for each team on the screen with the webcams, as well as the same team graphics that were there last year, as well as the roster block and a little new block that I've included that has some of the statistics from last year's team. So their record, their division record, their sort of production on both sides of the ball. And I think that helps to sort of understand the team that is coming out of last year into this year and sort of what you could maybe look to expect from that kind of team. So hopefully that hopefully you get some enjoyment of having that on the screen for your viewing pleasure. Again, when it comes to viewing pleasure, I know that a lot of people sort of dropped comments or DMs to me about the length of these videos. Going from 2 participants to 4 participants, obviously the videos are going to get a little longer to include all of the stuff that we have to talk about. But in saying that, feel free to sort of jump around and watch the parts of the NFL that you're interested in or that you have some sort of opinion that you'd like to compare. Don't feel obligated to watch every single second of all these videos. I know it's a lot, and obviously the season's already started. You'll probably be able to see these at the beginning of week 3, and that's just to continue the tradition of completely underestimating how much work these videos really and truly take to put together and make them enjoyable to watch. So I'll try to get better next time. As you go through, watch what you're interested in. Feel free to sort of skip around and drop the comments as soon as you find something that you want to talk about or an opinion that you want to challenge. We love that kind of engagement, and I think that will carry the momentum into our commitment to doing some mid-season and maybe the beginning of postseason content related to these predictions. Try to get the panel back to talk about everything that we are going to cover in these videos and see how that differs from the reality that is unfolding currently. Hope to see you guys in the comments section. Would love to engage with you as the season goes on, and feel free to come back to these videos often, especially towards the end of the season. Hopefully our playoff predictions aren't that far off, but that'll be really fun to see how all of the NFL season boils down to 7 teams on each side, and we'll be able to see which of the 4 of us was the most right in getting that guest. So anyway, enough rambling. I'm going to let you guys get to the video, but please like, comment, subscribe, share. Particularly share. I think these videos have the power to sort of bring conversation together. I think everyone loves to bond over football. So love to see a lot of commenting and sharing going on to really get engaged with you guys on these videos, and hopefully that carries the momentum into some more NFL related content on the channel, as well as other content that we have planned in the future for the channel that's not related to sports. So we're still cranking on a bunch of other videos and hope to have those to you very soon, but for now I'll let you get to the preseason prediction videos. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to lead us off, bud?
All right, so we're going to start with the NFC side. So my 7 teams in order. Tampa Bay wins the South. I think they finished with the best record by a pretty slim margin. I have both Tampa Bay and the Rams 1 and 2 at 12 and 5. Just for the purposes of this, I put Tampa Bay as the 1 seed. I feel like they're just a better team. I don't really know how the tiebreakers go, but that's how I did it. So Tampa Bay, the Rams, Green Bay wins the North pretty handedly, but they're slightly lesser than those top 2 teams. And then Philly wins the East, but there's not really much to that. 3 wild cards. I have New Orleans as the number 1 wild card team. If they were in either of some of the other divisions, they could potentially win that, but they're the wild card. Arizona, and then I also have San Francisco sneaking in at the 7. I think they do just enough in a much weaker NFC side to make the playoffs, even if it's just a skate-in kind of play. So Tampa Bay obviously gets the bye, so they move to the next round. Rams, San Francisco, I'm going to call an upset and just say that the Niners win that game. I think that a lot of these matchups for both conferences, I have a lot of divisional matchup type games, and I had to pick an upset. I don't think that the Rams are going to make it as far as everyone hopes that they would, and probably based on their expectations this season, they're kind of overblown, but I had to pick a Cinderella somewhere. So that's my Cinderella pick in that matchup. Green Bay versus Arizona. I think Green Bay is not getting tripped up by a guy that doesn't study. And then Philly and New Orleans are the 4-5 game. And I have a lot of faith in New Orleans. I think they're going to be a hot rising team, especially given all the firepower that we have on offense. Obviously, it's going to come down to Jameis's play and how he distributes the ball to our jerseys, not the other teams. But I think that this team is definitely good enough to win a playoff game at Philly. I don't think that is in question. So moving to the next round, Tampa Bay, San Francisco. Tampa Bay all day long. Tampa Bay off of a bye. You're not beating Tom Brady like that. I just can't see that happening. And then Green Bay, New Orleans. I gave the edge to Green Bay only on home field because I think in my mind's eye, these teams are going to be pretty evenly matched. They'll probably have pretty similar records, but obviously Green Bay gets the home game because they win the division and they'll be a higher seed, especially given this setup. I just think that Green Bay is good enough to win home playoff games against teams that are of comparable talent. As their season goes on, we'll all have a chance to understand their offensive prowess without Devontae Adams, and maybe this will seem far-fetched, but I still think that they would have enough. If they got a home playoff game like this, that they would win it. And then NFC Championship game, Tampa Bay, Green Bay. I got to give it to Tom Brady again, man. Aaron Rodgers is just not going to beat him when all the chips are in the middle of the table. And, I think one of the only teams that has more offensive firepower than the Saints in the NFC nowadays is Tampa Bay. They still have players all over the field, and Tom Brady is able to make mailmen look like amazing players. So with all the chips in the middle of the table, I still think Tampa Bay is poised to make it. And betting against Tom Brady in the playoffs just doesn't feel like the right thing to do. And I didn't do it last year, so I'm not doing it now either. So that's my NFC breakout. Thoughts?
Man, look, I think you're firm everywhere except for the goddamn 49ers, but they once again, oh boy's got to prove it to me. I think you're a little based on that point, but I say it's a little different if they announce that Jimmy G's staying on as just like a backup for them. If not, then I probably won't give it to him because I get it. We saw some preseason games. He was going against the second team. He's looking pretty good. He can throw it down the field. Great. I'm glad he can throw it down the field, but just I don't know. We'll
get there
when
we get there. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah. You had 3 teams from the NFC West.
Which is optimistic.
Well, I mean, it happened last year. So, I mean, they were, but I think last year they were far and away the best division in the NFC. This year, I don't think it's quite as far. I think it's a little bit closer. They're still the best division. Seattle's not coming in close. But those 3 teams, you can make an argument for any of those 3 teams to make it to the playoffs. I have a hard time arguing more than 2 for any other division at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that is the best division. I just think they're going to kind of eat each other alive in the West. So getting all those people matched up, I feel like is kind of. I don't think 3. I could see 2. I personally don't have 2 making it out from that one. Just the way I have my win-loss, but I mean, the who wins those, it's irrelevant which one of those 2 make it because you have them both losing in the first round. I have the same thing for my people that replace them. They just lose in the first round. So it's kind of the matchups that make sense.
Based on the records, it's really going to come down to does the second place team from the NFC North or the NFC East deserve a spot? And based on how I wrote out the records, that's not the case, but that could vary. When it's a 1-game difference that separates the playoffs, the 7, 8, 9 is always hard to pick. So it's very easy to slot.
You're looking at a lot of times you're looking at a 9 and 8 team.
Yeah. Barely breaking even
in the NFC. In the NFC at least. I mean, realistically, you want to look for a 10 and 7 team, but I almost had a 9 and 8 team in that last wild card spot. So I mean, that's just a testament. I don't think a single 10 and 7 team makes it in the AFC the way that I have the AFC going out. So the fact that a 9 and 8 team almost made it, and you'd have to be 11 and 5 to make it in the AFC. I mean, just kind of there's a lot of variance, but a lot of those teams are just pretenders. They're not. It's really just a top heavy. Those top 5 teams really. Your division winners plus the probably
best
wild card out of the South.
Yeah.
I that's where I have the first wild card spot I have coming out of the South as well. So, I think it's those top 5 teams. And other than that, it's really going to be. But I like where you've gone with a lot of your picks. I have a little more storyline in my picks, but I like yours. They all make sense. They were sound.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you were going with your picks there. My bad.
I was going to let Griffin weigh in if you wanted to, but I can roll into mine if you want.
I mean,
I just think he's based on San Francisco, man. I think that's just man. Like I said, the kid's gonna have to prove it to me.
That's a fair point.
I get it. You're paying the kid some decent chump change, in his pocket, but
there's a lot of faith in him.
Yeah. You're putting a lot of the eggs in one basket right now.
If I had to boil it down, my faith at the end of the day is also in Kyle Shanahan more so than Trey Lance. I mean, Trey Lance will eventually get there, but Kyle Shanahan can just dial it up.
Mhm.
he's made Jimmy G look like the kind of guy that you want on your team for years. And everyone, even the teams that want his services, they all know that he's limited. They all know that it's really Kyle that makes him look better than he maybe would be away from him.
I mean,
So,
maybe.
But
He was
Kyle
around
isn't
Bill
the
before
one.
then. He
Wasn't
was around Belichick. Well, I guess McDaniels at that point was
Yeah.
his,
yeah.
his offensive coordinator. So I mean, he's had really good offensive-minded guys around him. So, I mean, the question there is, does Trey Lance actually have a good season? And if he doesn't have a good season, do they get Jimmy G in there quick enough to salvage their season?
Yeah.
Much.
Yeah.
Much.
But yeah.
Even though, I mean, this is my thing is, it's like, if you're gonna say you're gonna stick with the kid, if he has like the worst season in
History.
starting history, like, dude, you just gotta ride that train, man. Like, you
gotta let
said
him
it
learn.
at the start
You
of the
gotta let him
season.
learn.
We're going with him. We trust in him. We believe in him. If things go south 6 weeks in, nah, I want that same confidence. Like,
Bring the
stick with
energy.
them.
Yeah.
Yes,
Agreed.
keep the same energy.
Agreed.
Exactly, you get it.
I like San Francisco as a sleeper. Last wild card slot though. I like them though. I kind of segued into mine a little bit, so I guess I'll take the next ones here.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, cutie.
I have Green Bay getting the number one slot. I think Rodgers is just going to go out and just have a really good year. And I think that other than the NFC East, I think the North is the easier schedules. So I think they have the best chance to win the most games and win on tiebreakers. I have New Orleans at number 2. I'm winning the South and being number 2. I have Rams at number 3. New Orleans and Rams go to a tiebreak, and I just kind of flipped a coin and was like, all right, this team is 2, this team's 3. Fourth is Philly. They're my division winners for the South, and they're going to match up against Tampa Bay, the first wild card seed and second seed in the South. And then I actually have Chicago figuring out a 6th seed somehow, which means Justin Fields is going to have a pretty good showing. Because, and then I have actually Dallas eking into that 7th spot. I had 3 teams at 10 and 7, and it was Chicago, Dallas, and Arizona. And just based off of I have more confidence in Dallas to pull off BS wins because of their strength of schedule being so bad. So that where I feel like they ought to be a team that makes it in, and then Chicago, just a little faith in it. It doesn't matter though, because both of those wild card teams are losing to New Orleans and the Rams, and then I have Tampa beating Philly. So Green Bay matches up against Tampa, and the Rams match up against New Orleans. I have both NFC South contenders winning those matchups. I believe in Tom Brady's last 2 Raw a little more than I believe in Aaron Rodgers' last 2 Raw. And I've got New Orleans getting revenge against the Rams. I don't think the Rams have it in them to make it all the way back again. As DJ put last video, not enough goats to sacrifice anymore. So I've got a classic.
I'm telling you, dude, the goat population has probably gone down already by like 50%. They just haven't even realized it yet.
Yeah. But then I've got a good old divisional NFC South matchup in the conference championship. And I've got New Orleans taking it. I think I have New Orleans winning. I don't know if I have New Orleans winning both games against Tampa. But I actually think other than who do they play? I think I have them beating most of the teams in this playoffs here, actually, except for they don't play Chicago and they don't play Green Bay. But I think they beat most of those other teams. So I have them kind of just basically just doing what they're supposed to do, taking care of business and getting to the Super Bowl there. And it's warranted based off of my win-loss. So, I mean, I have them being a number 2 seed. So if they're able to achieve a number 2 seed, there's no reason for them not to be able to make the run that I have them making. The question is, are they going to be good enough to get there? If they keep looking like they've been looking in the preseason, and if Jameis comes out and slings the ball like he's got talent for and limits the interceptions, they're They're a really good team. A little passionate, a little biased to them, but I think they can get it done. And I just hate the Rams, so I don't feel like putting the Rams moving on at all. And TB12 hurt my feelings whenever he beat them last time, so I'm going to have him losing to it. It's the Tampa Bay kryptonite. It's New Orleans, so I'm going to have New Orleans going all the way through.
Nice.
Still think you're a little base with the Dallas, but I still got Dallas as a 7-10 team at best.
Okay, I don't have them winning a playoff game, so I'm not doing anything fucking crazy here.
Yeah. Let's
let's calm down. They're not winning.
No, usual Dallas. What do you mean?
Yeah.
To get to the playoffs and then they lose in the playoffs. It's perfect. Yeah. It's like it goes hand in hand. It's like you feel like you have to do that because that's what happens all the time.
You can't bet against that. You got to bet for that. So
in that scenario, do you think Mike McCarthy keeps his job by making the playoffs and losing?
No, if he makes the playoffs, yeah.
I think if they don't make the playoffs, you're going to see a picture of Mike McCarthy on the side of the Dallas Cowboys stadium saying, "I'm teamless."
Help wanted.
And then nobody pick him up and he's going to be retired.
For a new job.
He's just going to be retired. Let's be honest. Like he's just going to be retired. That's it. Nothing else. Either that or he's going to go end up like working with like Lane Kiffin at like Ole Miss.
I don't think has he ever gone and worked what did he do for a college stint? Did he have one?
I don't know that he was in
I don't believe he did, but he would start.
He'll leave the NFL and go into the Nick Saban coach's rehabilitation clinic
program. Yeah, there you go.
But I ain't gonna lie to you though. They come out pretty good on the other end once you say you've worked with that man for a year.
Really
you kind of get a starting job at wherever you want. So
I'm gonna be real. Bama probably actually pays all of those, coordinators and all that pretty good money. It's probably comparable to head coaching positions in a lot of other conferences.
So his extension. My man's literally just got a $93 million extension for like the next 8 years.
Deal, by the way.
For the next 8 years. They said, dude, we will pay you until you croak. They said, until you are gone, we will pay you. And he's like, all right, I like football.
Right,
cool. My doctor says all I got to do is not yell at people. Perfect. But
the NFC is going to be a lot of the same, though. It's going to be a lot of the same teams that we've seen year in and year out.
No real turnover.
I don't think there's going to be a lot of not a lot of big changes in the NFC. You'll probably see 4 out of the 7 or 5 out of the 7 teams that were there last year. You'll see them again.
Yeah. Agreed.
And they'll be the ones that win the games that are going into the I would not be surprised if you see same divisional and conference championship games from where they've been the past 2 years. So.
Yep. To the point that I was making, you just swapped in some of the teams that I was like, oh, if the number 2 team in the NFC East or the number 2 team in the NFC North has enough wins to make it, then they're in.
Yep.
But they still just, they're not difference makers.
I don't think they're contenders. They'd have to fluke it. And, I'm going off of a gut feeling and 8 out of 10 times. If I think this team will win 8 out of 10 times, then I have a hard time voting in an upset. Not a couple, but otherwise, I don't have enough faith in really almost any wild card team other than a wild card team that has a really good winning record. Because Tampa would be the 4 seed if it's based off of record for me. So they're almost if they win one more game against if it's not against New Orleans but they win one more game, then they're tied for 2, and I have 2, 3, and 4 all at the same record. So, it's the pesky NFC East divisional winner that has to have a spot. Now, I think they'll earn it a little better this year, but what was that 2 years ago where they had a 8-9 team make the playoffs or whatever? I think it was where they had literally a losing team, a team with a losing record. It was like Washington when Washington made the playoffs.
Yeah,
played Tampa.
Yeah,
they were 8-9. It's how in the heck does a losing record team, you can't produce an over 500 record team to make the playoffs, and so that was just kind of.
Yeah. Well, the Saints lost to the 7-9 Seahawks, so.
Booyah. Look, we don't talk about that game. That was.
We don't talk about Bruno, baby. Relax.
Just had
These might
to,
hurt my feelings.
just had to
But I
sprinkle
mean,
that
look,
fact
guys,
in.
if y'all are ready to flame somebody, we can go on ahead and switch to me. Even though I feel like the real flame is going to be once I go to the AFC. The NFC kind of normal. Like based off of the records that I gave everybody, right? I mean, it's nothing too crazy. I got the Eagles at number 1 coming out of the East.
Nothing
I mean,
too
like I
crazy,
said, I
okay.
gave them a 13-4 record. When I look at their schedule, it's literally one of the weakest in the entire NFL based off of the teams that they're playing. And given their roster, this team, if they don't come out first in the NFC, something is wrong. They should consider it a failed season. Period. Like it's not even joking. They play almost nobody. Like they play the shell of like former teams. Second, I've got the Saints coming out of the South. I think the Saints beat the Buccaneers 2 times this year. Brady has shown historically he can't play against the physical Saints because they are literally trying to take his head off, and all we've done is upgraded, literally.
We got rid of the paying people in the locker room, so I don't know if they're trying to actually take us off anymore. So
don't worry, Davenport. He lost a finger. He's got to pay for that surgery. He's gonna be trying to take his head off. Cam's always trying to take his head off. Him and Matt Ryan. He's just got something against those two. But Matt's gone, so he's like, oh wait, Tom, sorry, bud. You're the only time I get released this year. Like so, and we pay you twice, bud. So he's gunning for him. 3, it just made sense. The Rams coming out of the West. I feel it's hard to bet against them. And 4, I've got the Packers coming out of the North because, like, what division actually can beat the Packers in it other than the South? 1 second. Let's see. 5th, so first wild card comes in as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at a 12-5 record, simply because they couldn't win the South against my boys. All right, and coming in at 6th. Based off a record, because I had a couple of teams at 9-8, this is where it falls because I didn't have a team at 10-7 after the 11-6 drop off because I think the other teams were that bad. I've got the Carolina Panthers at 6th with a 9-8 record. Baker Mayfield making it to the playoffs, and somehow magically, because I feel like it somehow always happens like this, but it happens day in and day out, and it's the only thing that separated me from putting the Chicago Bears there, is I have a feeling somehow Kirk Cousins is going to make it to the damn playoffs, and the Minnesota Vikings at 7 at 9-8. Like, it's one of those things that I can't, like, the dude, I give it to him, like, depending on which version of Kirk Cousins you get, it's like, it's either like Super Bowl caliber or like literally like his floor is pretty low, right? So I think they can etch out like a good like 9 wins this season to potentially make it into the playoffs as like a 7th spot, because I think the other teams are just that bad in the NFC. It's very top heavy, as we've alluded to, so comment section, please don't call me based. Like, it's very top heavy, right? So for your first matchups, I've got Green Bay and the Buccaneers playing in the first round at Green Bay. I got T. Brady literally beating the Green Bay Packers. That's even now with Green Bay having, whatever kind of wide receiver issues they have, the coach literally having to call a meeting and then getting Aaron to talk to them about it because, he's kind of got to throw it to, like, somebody to win a game. Even though I think he's a great quarterback, he's still got to throw it to somebody to win a game. So I got the Bucks. Bucks taking that one. The next matchup would be the Rams and the Panthers. I think the goat population will still be a little safe then. They'll still have their goats, so they'll etch it out over Baker Mayfield and send him home. And then here comes my favorite matchup out of my entire bracket, which is the New Orleans Saints finally getting that revenge on what happened back in, what was it, 2016? Was it 2016?
I don't know if it was 16 or 19. They met them a couple of times in the playoffs, but we lost.
But you remember which one I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think the whole like NFL watching population knows which one you're talking
everybody
about.
knows.
Exactly. Everybody knows that one. I mean, everybody remembers the New Orleans Saints and the Rams.
And the fact that he was still on the team the next year was tragic.
Yeah, it was a tragedy. But I mean, look, nothing was worse than the Saints and the Rams. So, like, like if we're being honest, him taking our wide receiver's head off and not getting called for it.
I know Lewis.
Huh?
Lewis.
Yeah, and so then the next round after that, I've got the Eagles versus the Bucks because they're the first seed, of course. I've got a nice warmed up kind of team going ahead and going against a rested team. I think the Eagles once again. I know I'm going to be a little based on this one. I think the Eagles should be a really damn good team. I've got them beating the Buccaneers, sending T. Brady home. I think T. Brady goes into retirement after that officially. Dude already lost $600 million or something like that. He's going to lose his pride after losing to the Eagles. He's going to call it wraps. He's out the door. Right? They're going to do all that crap that they did with getting rid of their coach and everything for him to leave right after that. And then the Buccaneers fans are going to be like, oh, who are we going to get to save us? And then that's when they're going to call Jimmy G next year. And then we still won't care as Saints fans. Right? Then, once again, we got another classic rematch that the Saints fans have been wanting for years, which is the Rams versus the Saints. And, of course, the Saints are winning. The GOAT population will not be safe. Saints will have home field advantage. They can't sacrifice goats in New Orleans. I'm pretty sure it's a law. Like, it's unlawful. Like, they can't do it, so therefore they can't even do it at their home stadium. So, like, because the goats are going to be 100% gone by then because they needed it all to beat Baker Mayfield.
That's all.
Yeah, that and we got Voodoo on our side and, and Gumbo. Since Gumbo apparently makes us terrible and unhealthy or some crap like that. Then I've got the Eagles versus the Saints, a tale as old as time, and I've got the Saints etching it out. It's one of those things where, I feel like a lot of people are going to say, if they're reading the comments saying, like, oh, we're base, we're Saints biased, but like, one of those things, I admire good football. And the biggest thing is the New Orleans Saints, on paper, have the potential of winning a Super Bowl. When you look at their roster, top to bottom, and I put them against every other roster, top to bottom, I see a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense in every category. Period. And that makes for good football. And when you play good football, you win games. When you win games, you win a lot of games. So I think that brings them to being the NFC representative.
Well said, last
Questions,
point.
comments,
Well
concerns?
said, last point. If you win a lot of games, you win a lot of games.
Damn straight.
Nah, I mean, very similar to Ben's bracket, where it's just like the usual suspects playing against each other again. I just love
Heavy, man. It's always top heavy.
I love the revenge tour that you have the Saints going on because you have them beating the Vikings in the first round, then the Rams, then the Eagles. Just like, hey, all these teams that we've played,
knocked you out.
Yeah, all these teams that have either knocked us out or we've played a shit ton in the playoffs in the last decade. Here's the redemption on all of them.
Sounds like the perfect win to me. What are you talking about?
All of them knocked us out. The only one that he didn't put in there that knocked us out was Tampa.
Yeah,
recently at least. That's the only one that he
Just
put in there.
because Tampa gets slacked by the Eagles, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like I said, looking at the Eagles on paper at least should be a very dangerous team. My boy Boston Scott's on that roster. Me and him go way back to the being at church days whenever he was at Zachary High. So like I can't put a bet up against him. I've talked to him a little bit here and there, asking how the roster's looking. He's like, yo, practice is going good, camp's going pretty good. So like, I can't really bet against them right now because like I said, I look top to bottom and you look at this team and you're like, man, y'all have made some good upgrades on defense. Man, y'all have made some good upgrades on offense too. Right, especially acquiring AJ Brown from the Titans. Like, I think you have a really good wide receiver core. I think if everybody stays healthy, you've got a 13-4 team on your hands where they're having a good year and they're going to be sitting there saying, "Man, it was a really good year, but we got beat by the Saints." And that'll be the hallmark of their year. This is the best team we've ever had, but man, we still couldn't beat the Saints.
Not the best team they've ever had, but in recent.
I think it has potential. I'm not even joking with you.
Yeah,
I think it has potential.
So like,
True. I mean, look, okay, based Wentz, all right, we get it. Like, and what happened after that season? He went from here to here and never came back, okay? So, like, it was a once in a miracle kind of season, and that's where it seems to be staying at.
I still don't know how they won.
Nobody knows how they still won, but they
Nick
did.
Foles, baby.
There you go.
Nick
Foles.
freaking Foles.
Nick, his name is freaking Foles, man. Coming off the bench to win it.
Big Richard Nick, man. Absolute legend. But
Like
All
I
I gotta
said,
say is don't ever bet against Nick Foles coming off the bench. Don't ever bet against that.
I'm still in the league. Or did he finally retire?
I think he's still in the league.
Oh,
there's
God.
gotta be if he's still in the league and like he needs a job, I'll trade Ian Book for him. Like
Dude, include Sorensen in the package. I'll take it. Kill two birds with one stone. Because right now, Ian Book is just making me cry just a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, these preseason games are like, dude, you're making it look like it's a high school game, man. Literally, my high school is playing better football than this. And that's saying something.
Out here.
Yep.
Yep. All
Griffin,
right.
I want to hear your
Griffin, you
weighing
gotta bring us home on the NFC, bud.
I'm ready to hear what base takes this guy's got.
All right, so coming in at the one spot, I've got the Saints at 12-5. I mean, we all preached to the choir to ourselves for about 45 minutes on the first podcast. I mean, from top to bottom, just like DJ said, the Saints look like the best team in the NFL. Coming in at 2 seed, I've got the Rams at 12-5. I've got the Bears at 10-7. I've got at the 4 seed the Eagles at 10-7. At the 5, I have Tampa Bay at 11-6. At 6, I got the 49ers at 8-9, and at the 7 spot, I've got Green Bay coming in at 8-9. Now, do I kind of regret Green Bay? Yes, a little bit. I probably would have given them a couple more wins if I had done my research more, but I didn't. So, yeah, that's what we're going with.
Let it ride, bud. Let it ride.
Yep. Going on to the wild card rounds, I've got the Eagles and Buccaneers matched up at the 4 and 5, and I think that the Eagles are going to come away with that win. It's not going to be an upset. It's just going to be the Eagles just dominate that game. I don't think it's going to be really close, really. It's just going to be a domination by Philadelphia. Then I have a big upset coming in. The Chicago Bears and 49ers. I think 49ers beat the Bears, but it's a close game. The last one, I have the Rams going up against the Green Bay Packers, and I think the firepower is going to be too much. I think that the Rams are going to win. Let's see.
He's going to unveil his dual-wielding skill.
Yeah, he's going to his second X factor. He's going to break it out for that game, and he's going to hurt Aaron Rodgers. Okay. So
Miles Garrett.
My God. Chill.
Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a skull as thick as Mason Rudolph.
Aaron Rodgers found dead.
after playoff game in the NFC.
Aaron Rodgers found dead after he asked Aaron Donald to hit him in the head with a helmet after his team decided not to draft a frickin' wide receiver again.
All right, so going into the divisional round, I've got the Philadelphia Eagles facing off against the Rams. The Rams will be the home team, and I think that, just like DJ says, there's going to be just enough goats. Gonna be just enough goats.
The goat population, dude. I'm telling you, man. Every time they win, it goes up like 1 to 2%. When it gets playoff time, it's gonna start jumping in intervals of like 20. So if you ever see a close win with the Rams, and all of a sudden it looks like they're gonna lose, they're down by like like 21 or
All of a sudden,
14,
Goats cost
and
about
they all of a
150
sudden come back to a
million
win,
market.
just assume they've slaughtered 20% of the Los Angeles goat population. Just assume. So
Yeah.
by the time we get to the playoffs, that's how you can rack up how many goats are left.
Yeah, goat inflation is up 15%, so they're not going to be able to afford a million goats this year, so they're just not going to be able to do it.
All right.
Inflation, the price of goats is too high, man. You imagine if there's a story come out of like a goat farmer who's like, "Oh, my goats disappeared, like 2 days ago."
Let me go get my tinfoil hat real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah, really.
All right, so I got the Rams beating the Eagles, but I think that that's actually going to be a much closer game than people think that it's going to be. It's probably going to be a 3-point game, if I'm being honest. And then the last one in the divisional round, I've got the 49ers at the 6th seed playing at New Orleans. New Orleans going to have a bye week. It's going to be an absolute shellacking. New Orleans is going to take this thing to the bank, and they are going to go to the conference championship. Now, you've got the Rams going up against New Orleans in New Orleans, and it's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. The dead goat population is finally going to end. The black market's going to cease to run. New Orleans is taking it. New Orleans is taking it, and I don't have it being necessarily close. I think it's going to be by at least 2 scores.
New Orleans by 40.
Yeah.
He said the black market is gonna be collapsed.
No goats for you, sir. No goats for you.
You know, as funny as this running joke about goats has been, I really think if I was going to pick between New Orleans or Los Angeles and which city murders goats, it would definitely be New Orleans. So, like, I feel like at some point this analogy is going to fall apart.
He's
but-
probably
We're the
right.
Saints. We're the Saints. The only thing we slaughter is beers and gumbo pots,
he's probably
like
right.
and
Probably
crawfish.
voodoo. There's some
Oh
voodoo
no, you know what? It's the crawfish population.
there's some
My bad.
voodoo in there.
That's our slaughter is the crawfish population, but it's just mistaken for
Wait,
crawfish
so-
season.
Yeah.
DJ,
So,
I
like-
gotta ask you a question. How many crawfish being slaughtered does it take to equal 1 goat in Los Angeles? Like, what is how do you equal that out?
Probably millions.
I mean, I think one goat is at least a good 2 sacks of crawfish.
2 sacks?
About a good 2 sacks, like a good 2 25-pound sacks. It's like a good 50 pounds. You know what I'm saying? It's a good average size goat, I think. So
I just
you
knew
know,
you were gonna go with a sack
yeah, you. That's the
somehow.
only. Come on, let's be honest. When you talk about
sure
crawfish, I'm not gonna
crawfish.
say about 30 little crawfish. Like, no, I'm gonna give you. Yeah, I'm gonna give you in metrics of sacks, right? Because that's how we measure crawfish. I'll say 2 25-pound sacks is the average goat. But see, this is the difference. We seamlessly never run out of crawfish, but they always run out of goats. So that's.
It's LA, so if they run out of goats, they'll just go on to homeless population,
Oh my god.
DJ, I love how you're just up to date on your goat population stats.
Dude, I'm telling you, I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna do a solid for you.
every Sunday.
A
Every
what?
game. I'm gonna send you a goat fact every Sunday.
A goat fact every Sunday. I'll appreciate it.
I'll do a goat
I'm
fact.
gonna do my best to try to make a web page where I'm pulling in goat data through an API, so that all of a sudden when goats start dying or go missing on Sunday game days, we'll know what's up, boys. It's all of a sudden you're gonna see by the end of the year the goat population is gonna be cut in half on the United States. Y'all gonna be like, dude, what's going on?
It's screwed.
Yep.
Yeah,
Base.
just tweet at me.
No one man should have all this knowledge. I'm gonna be taken out.
I definitely feel like the odd man out because I'm the only one out of the 4 of us that didn't pick the Saints to be in the Super
At least
Bowl.
you picked an NFC South team.
That's fair. That's fair.
So,
I mean, definitely the most
The wrong
competitive,
one.
division back and forth between 2 teams. So, I mean,
Yeah, I feel like those top 2 are just either. I feel like it's easier to justify those 2. It's harder to justify Green Bay this year because they don't have Devontae. It's always hard to justify an NFC East team. So it's there, and then the Rams are coming off a winning season, but it's are they able to do it again? Like just
Right.
how hard it is to do it again. It's just like Cup had an absolutely incredible year last year. I don't think he's going to have quite the same year. I don't think I don't know. The Rams didn't even impress me that much last year, honestly, and they won the thing. But like they never felt to me like they were the best team.
They didn't impress me, honestly, until they had Odell on the team. Once
Yep.
Odell got
Yeah.
onto the team, I was like, man, Cooper Kupp went from like being semi-open every other play to like wide open every other play because like he would just he just got the freedom that he needed, which was okay, I'm wide open, nobody can touch me because
Throw me the ball.
you've got either your best your best corner on me, or like your second best corner, and I left that dude 5 yards behind me because like that man's like off the ball speed is just literally insane. Like it's on par with like Deontay Hardy, like when it comes down to his like overall quickness off the ball, but he's got like almost the height of Michael Thomas. But that's also some things to see is just like with the Saints offense,
Right, Odell. Okay.
No,
Oh,
yeah, I was talking about Odell and stuff
Oh,
like
you're talking
that.
about Cup. I was like, Cup is tiny. Like, wait a
I
minute.
didn't know who he was
Like,
talking about either.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hold on, time out.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
like,
I'm not saying he's the tallest guy ever. I know he's short. Like
People
he's
forget that like
he's short in football
Odell,
standards.
like
Yeah.
Odell was an absolute menace.
Yes. In New York.
Like he
Yes.
made that catch. That was his rookie year, and he made probably arguably the best catch of all time in terms of like legit catches. Right? Maybe not like the most impactful or like the most clutch catches, but like just how in the hell did you catch that ball? It's up there with like the helmet catch. It's up there with insert another catch here. Like it's just crazy. So, but
Yeah.
all right.
That
So
NFC.
NFC done.
oh,
I mean, my goal is never really to be monetized, so it's
You
really
don't
not
get
that
enough
big a
views
problem.
for it.
And we're back.
Yeah, we're
Oh my
back.
gosh, what happened?
Oh my gosh, guys! Hi.
Alright. All right,
That was the
so
weirdest thing. The camera just cut out.
all right,
There we
so now let's go ahead and talk about or run through our AFC playoff pictures. I guess I'll go ahead and start
yeah,
again.
go ahead.
I
Go ahead.
volunteer DJ as tribute. I volunteer DJ as tribute.
DJ wants to go.
He
first.
already knows, man. He already
Say
knows.
DJ last. I feel like we need to do that.
No. Get
I'm
it
gonna
out
get this
now, man.
foolishness out of the way first.
It's like, dude, I need to rip the Band-Aid off because the burn is that hot. Like, this man he just can't handle it, dude.
Hey, well, okay. Either me or DJ's last. Pick which one.
Okay,
Yeah,
DJ's going first, Ben's going last. Let's run
Okay,
it.
I'm going first.
Let's run it.
All right.
Give it to me.
All right, boys. All right, based off of records going into the AFC, this one had a lot more teams at like 10 and 7-ish, so it was a little more competitive going into the wild card scenarios and stuff like that. So I got the Bengals at 1 coming out of the North at 13 and 4. I think they have a good team. Like I said, their ceiling is pretty high given the upgrades that they had, but they still could potentially lose games here and there. Second, coming out of the West, is the Kansas City Chiefs, because like even with not having the best wide receivers, I still feel like I can't bet against Patrick Mahomes because he makes me lose money. Coming out of the East, I've got the Dolphins at 11 and 6. And the 4 seed out of the West, the Tennessee Titans. Going into the wild card, I've got the Chargers coming in at 11 and 6. The 6th seed is the Buffalo Bills coming out at 10 and 7. And it was a real big toss-up that I had in my head going up between these two teams on who I'm going to bet on. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I had the Baltimore Ravens coming out in the 7th seed at 10 and 7, with the New England Patriots missing their playoffs for the year. They're sitting at home. The big old Bill is sitting there with an old Bud Heavy watching the playoffs from home. So in round 1, we've got Tennessee Titans versus the Chargers, with the Chargers coming out on top. I think King Henry can only do so much. They run a really classic style offense that works for the West, but or my bad, the South, but just won't work against the rest of the teams in the AFC. So I think the Chargers will come out on top, and that'll be that. I think Miami versus the Buffalo Bills is my next matchup. I think even though the Bills will have a pretty good year this year, the biggest question mark that I have is how their wide receiver core is going to play out, especially losing Emmanuel and the other guy whose name escapes me right now. So I actually have them losing to the Dolphins in the next round. And then I've got the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Baltimore Ravens. Once again, I don't know how I can bet against Mr. Mahomey. So I've got Mr. Mahomes, coming in hot. Then the next round is the Bengals versus the Chargers, where I have Eli Apple losing the game for the Cincinnati Bengals, sending them home in Joe Beasy. I've got the Chargers coming out ahead, and that's that. Then Dolphins versus the Chiefs. I've got the Dolphins winning. I think Tyreek's gonna light up the field because he's gonna want to get even against the Chiefs. Either Griffin is just like dead or he just like froze into oblivion because of my take right now, which it's fair, understandable, right? And then I've got the Dolphins versus the Chargers with the Miami Dolphins etching out on top and becoming the AFC representative.
Now I
for the National Football League.
Now I understand that Ben must have seen your picks or y'all talked about it because those are some sizzling takes.
Yeah.
Hey man, I'm telling you, dude. I'm always bringing the heat because this is the thing, right? I look like a crazy man now, but then if it happens, it's like, holy cow, this dude's a prophet. Like, no one would have thought of this? I'd be like, exactly. No one did except for this guy. This one brain thought about it.
That's why it's genius, right?
That's why it's genius. This guy. Like I said, there can be a bunch of... Y'all can tell me that it's a bunch of base takes, right? I just think I have that feeling that the Miami Dolphins are going to upset a lot of people's expectations this year that they have for them. I think everybody's writing them off too early before the season even starts. If they stay healthy, they develop in the way that I think they're going to. Yeah, they have a running back by committee, but that doesn't, in the AFC, that's not necessarily the most important thing. The most important thing in the AFC is how well can your receivers catch the damn football, period. Because the only team that has a real running game, if we're being honest, are the Steelers, the Titans, and the Bengals. Other than that,
the Colts have a good running back. I don't know if they have a really good.
The Colts have a good running back, but not. They have a good running back, but not a good running game.
Titans, Colts. No one thinks very highly of them at all in the playoffs.
Exactly.
Anyway, so
literally, you play the Tennessee Titans, and you know what you're getting with the Tennessee Titans. You're playing 4 quarters of Derrick Henry getting the ball every other play and running you over like a freight train. That's what you get.
Yep.
And it would just, last year, it would open up for you to get a pass to A.J. Brown because everybody's worried about Derrick Henry. This year, we don't even know how literally discount A.J. Brown is going to play. So, because they traded A.J. Brown to get a discount A.J. Brown. So, we still got to see how this kid is going to develop. Which is why I still don't have them beating the Chargers, because I think the Chargers are going to be a really good team, considering that they made upgrades in the red zone. They're going to have a good red zone offense with a good tight end that they added that's 6'7" or something crazy like that. Dude's huge. And he's got height. He can jump, and he's got height. It's going to be good old, what's his name, Jimmy Graham, for the Saints back in the day. So, I can't really complain, right? And so, with them, I still think that I'm going to ride the Dolphins train until he gets stopped at the station, which could potentially be earlier on in the season. But still, if they make it as the AFC representative, like I said, everybody's going to be like, "Yo, wait a minute, hold up, this guy was crazy. He put him at the 3rd seed, and they made it to the finals." And I'd be like, "Hey, man, try to tell y'all." So, hey, you can call me based if you want. I mean, I think it's a little less based than Ben's take, But like,
Don't worry about that, okay?
We don't worry
oh,
about
I
that.
worry about it because
Worry about it later.
I just think that our four opinions on the AFC are probably enough of a difference to be like, oh man, there's so many good teams that you could choose from that, I wouldn't be surprised if we all have some pretty differing opinions. But
I would say.
all
I'd
right,
imagine so.
Griffin, you're up.
All right, so with the 1 seed, I have the Kansas City Chiefs with a record of 13-4. Second seed, I got the Bengals, same record, 13-4. Third seed, I've got the Buffalo Bills at 12-5. Fourth seed, I've got the Indianapolis Colts at a 10-7. Fifth seed, I've got the Chargers at 11-6. Sixth seed, I've got the Baltimore Ravens at 11-6, and then at the 7th seed, I have the New England Patriots coming in at a 10-7 record. I'm sorry, DJ, I could not go with the Dolphins on this one. Look, I'm still on that train of where, look, I'm just gonna have to see it. Like, I'm not saying it's an awful take. I just have to be proven wrong, and I just want to see it happen. I truly want to see the Dolphins just upset the world. That would be really cool.
look, when this conversation rolls around next year, and we're sitting there trying to talk about who we're gonna have in the playoffs, and all of y'all want to put the Dolphins in the playoffs, and then potentially making it to the Super Bowl, and I've got the Dolphins as like the worst team in the league, and I'm hyping up like a new team. It's gonna be like the Jacksonville Jaguars. Y'all are gonna be like, all right, guys, we gotta skew our takes a little bit to include the Jacksonville Jaguars, because DJ was like goated last year on this. So that look, I'm all happy for the praise at the end of the tunnel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've sat in the lab back there. I got a second bedroom. Went in there with my hoodie on in pure darkness, doing some calculations like a hacker man, trying to figure out the NFL script. You know what I'm saying? So look, it's okay. I already see it. Saints winning the whole thing, but the Dolphins making it into the AFC. Call me base, but hey, I'm telling you, you'll see.
Bulls.
Keep going, Griffin.
All right.
Let's hear it.
So
My bad.
in the wild card is the Chargers going to Indianapolis. I think that the Chargers are going to come away with this win. I think the game is going to be too much for the Colts to keep up with, so I have them advancing. Next one, I have the Baltimore Ravens playing in Buffalo. Buffalo's going to come away with the win. I don't care what anyone says. I think that Buffalo's going to win that game by a pretty large margin. I don't think that I think the curse of Lamar Jackson in the playoffs is going to continue, and he's not to get very far. Then the last wild card round, we got the New England Patriots playing in Cincinnati. I've got Cincinnati. I don't see Mac Jones coming out of there with a dub right now. The divisional round, I've got Buffalo at Cincinnati. I've got Buffalo winning this. I've got Buffalo. I guess you can call it an upset. I think that Buffalo is just going to have too much on Cincinnati, and the defense. Look, it's going to be Apple. Let's admit it. It's going to be Apple. I'll see you, DJ. And then the last one, I've got Chargers at Kansas City. I've got Kansas City advancing. I can't bet against Patrick Mahomes right now. From the divisional round to the championship, got Buffalo playing at Kansas City. And I really do think it's going to be the revenge tour, just like the Saints. I think the Buffalo Bills are going to upset the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that he's going to get his rematch, and he's going to get that win back.
Honestly, if I could just sign up to watch like 17 or 18 weeks in a row of Kansas City versus Buffalo, I feel like that would just make for amazing television.
It's a pay-per-view.
Yeah, like literally, I'd do it because I feel like every time those two teams get together, it's just like complete and
You know
utter
what I
chaos.
I want 2 giant TVs hooked up to like a Raspberry Pi, and then you just multi-screen just every game live at like the same time, like all the
Really?
12 o'clock games and everything, just so I
have
can
that,
sit
don't they?
outside, smoke, like put a chicken on like the smoker, and then just be like, this is life. This is life right here.
We're
Every game right in front of me. Like this is peak.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, Leo, you want to come say
the,
hi
the
again?
AFC playoffs are just really fun to talk about. I mean, all those matchups make sense to me. They all feel like good games to watch. I mean, nothing to really complain about and tell you that you're crazy. So, I guess it's my turn to get called crazy, though. So
Leo has a take. Leo
Is it
has a
about the
take.
Miami Dolphins?
What's your take, Leo?
He
Is
said
it-
good
is it-
Dolphins.
Is it the Dolphins winning?
Tua's
Huh?
trash.
Is it
Hey,
well,
buddy.
I don't
Hey,
know
bud.
about this one, Dad.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know about this
I'm
one.
bailing, Dad. I'm
Oh, I
bailing.
was
I'm
like-
not in on the
I'm gonna
Dolphins.
just
Who are you in on? Are you in on the Buffalo Bills? No, he's not in on the Buffalo Bills.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Kansas City Chiefs?
His ears perked up. You saw it.
Yeah, they perked up a little bit. Hold up. Who else? Let's see. Cincinnati Bengals. Tennessee Titans.
Nothing.
Nope.
Los Angeles Chargers. Oh, we got ear perkage. We got ear perkage. The Chargers
that's how we're
going to
doing.
the Super Bowl.
That's how we're doing our predictions from now on. We're asking the dog.
Everyone just gets a dog.
Yeah.
I just put
The
DD
hot
in
dog
here.
take.
Like the it's like the octopus that picks the soccer games.
Yeah.
For like
Yeah.
World Cup and stuff. It's just
Yeah.
Same thing.
He just
Perfect.
Such
nice.
All
All right,
right.
Cody, what you got?
All right, so by record, in my AFC world, we got Buffalo at the number 1 seed out of the East. I just think that they are, like the kinds of things that we say about NFC East teams are just as true, in my opinion, for the AFC East, where you just have a lot of cupcake games on your schedule. I mean, the Jets still exist somehow, so. AFC North, I'm giving it to the Bengals. I don't think that that's hard to argue. My number 3 seed, which no one else believed in me when we were talking about it before, but I've got Denver. I just think that they're like...
Yeah,
Get out.
I still
Get
just
out.
think they're on the warpath. Get
out. Leave.
You'll see.
Yeah, the warpath to last place, baby. Woo! The warpath. Yeah. We lost too many games that we should have won.
At 4, I've got Indy edging out Tennessee for the obligatory AFC South playoff team. At 5, I've got Kansas City Chiefs. I'm definitely not trying to say that they're terrible. I just think that they're going to have a slightly lesser year than Russell Wilson off of a bye year. He just is ready to get out there and play meaningful games again. At 6, I've got the Raiders. And at 7, squeaking in over top of a couple of other 11-6, 10-7 teams, I've got the Baltimore Ravens eking in at 7. So, obviously, Buffalo gets the bye into the next round. Cincy versus Baltimore, I think... I gave Cincinnati the edge in the head-to-head matchups between them and Baltimore during the regular season, and I think that continues. So I have Cincy moving through. Let's see. Vegas versus Denver. Again, another divisional rematch. I do not believe that Russell Wilson is here to only play one playoff game. I've got Denver winning that game in Mile High. And then Indy versus Kansas City. I'm definitely picking Kansas City. I think that Indianapolis is going to be good enough to be a playoff team, but I still think that the fact that they are helmed by Matt Ryan is a limiting factor, and they're just going to be like struggling to keep up with the offensive firepower that Kansas City still has. Even though they've taken a step back, they're going to have enough to beat the Colts, and I just don't see how that changes. So
Maybe we should have left Cody for last on the on his take, dude, because I don't know if you
really
got
have
him
one.
still, man. Like that, Cody is spitting some stuff, man, right now. All right, he's hot.
Wait. You have
He's
Denver
hot.
over who?
Denver beating Vegas in the 3-6.
I think they all had Denver beating Vegas in the general, except for me. So,
Yeah.
so why'd you put your mic up when you tried to talk? I don't get it.
Because I said I'm gonna let him finish his take.
So next round, Buffalo, Kansas City. I think that Buffalo takes it. Obviously, I have Buffalo being like basically gangbusters this year. And every time that Buffalo and Kansas City play each other, it's a complete barn burner that you want to like take every other thing out of your life and just move it to the side so you can watch that game. But I think that Buffalo will be. I think Buffalo has either stayed pretty much the same or they've gotten better. And in my opinion, I think Kansas City has gotten worse in a couple of key areas. So that gives the edge to Buffalo in a pretty hard-fought game. And then
Get your popcorn ready.
in the next game, I've got Cincy playing against Denver. And I think that the back-to-back Cinderella story comes to an end. So I have Denver beating Cincinnati in a pretty big upset in terms of like America's favorites.
Okay, yeah,
You know,
okay.
I have enough faith in Russell Wilson to just like will his team to conference championship
Bye, Griffins.
participation.
I'll do that, guys.
But the crazy train stops there because I think the Buffalo Bills are just not going to let anyone beat them. I don't care if it was Russell Wilson coming off of a year, Tom Brady in his 20s. I don't care who it is. I think Buffalo takes the AFC over Denver. I would, even in a different world where Cincinnati beats Denver, or at least, Cincinnati makes it to the conference championship, beating whomever, I still just have enough faith in Buffalo to take care of business this year. I think they have had too many consecutive years of like barely missing out, that they're on enough of a mission that I really don't think that there's going to be enough AFC to stand in their way of the Super Bowl this go round. So I've got Buffalo taking the AFC.
So you like this Denver team, huh?
I do, man. You got to have faith when you put your neck out there. So,
I guess.
Hey, it's the same trap that I fell into with the Washington football team last year, where I was like, I think this team is going to be better than most people believe, and you just got to sell out. Like, if you're going to make a hot take, don't just have them losing in the first round of the playoffs, because then you could have just picked whomever to be there. You gotta, if you're gonna pick a hot take,
Look,
they gotta make
all
some
I gotta
noise.
say is this take is hotter than the water that the Buffalo Bills punter's in right now.
Yikes.
So we're
All right.
recording.
Wow.
We're recording
No
this
mercy.
episode on August 26th, the day that news came out. As this ages, whoever's
You don't want to
watching,
get demonetized.
you'll probably understand better in the future what we're talking about, and
Yeah.
you'll have more context. But that
If
was
if
breaking
you don't
news
understand,
today.
go ask your parents.
Yeah, that was breaking news today.
Don't do
so-
that. Don't do that. Please don't do that.
They can explain all of that to you if you don't understand any of that. So
If we weren't demonetized before then, now we are.
we are now.
Now we are. Now we definitely are.
All right,
Sorry.
Ben. So we've apparently dubbed the hottest of the takes. So now you gotta say.
That's because Ben is full of cap, dude. I'm just going ahead and say that it is.
All right, Miami,
it is
calm
cap,
down,
dude.
Calm
It is
down, Miami.
cap.
All right, no, I've got. So I think just a culmination of the entire thing is the hot take here. So all right, if you remember back in the previous video when we went over the AFC West here, you'll remember that I spoke fairly highly of Las Vegas and the Chargers. And if you remember, I said that Vegas was going to be 14-3. That earns them the number 1 spot in the AFC
Oh my lord!
on a coin flip, because I have Buffalo also at 14-3. So I have them at the number 2. I flipped the coin, and I like how it worked out, because it gives me some pretty nice matchups. So Buffalo at 2, Cincy's at 3. They're 13-4. And there, so I think have them win in the North, and then I have Tennessee win in the South as the 4 seed. As my wild cards, I have the Chargers right there at 13-4. So, like, if in my opinion, they probably should win that division, but I've got Chargers at 5. Yep, he's capping over there.
Oh, he's
And
still capping.
I have Baltimore at the 6 at 12-5. And my 7th seed is New England at 11-6. I don't have Kansas City in it because I have Kansas City only winning 10 games. So, you know, one of y'all's favorites over there is just not even in my bracket. So that's a big one. First big matchup is Buffalo New England, a big old divisional game. And I've got New England on the upset path here. New England is going to upset the Buffalo Bills, and Buffalo is going to go home. They are going to just choke again as a team that should be extremely good and have playoff wins. I just don't think they have it in them. I think they should, but I was like, no, I'm picking an upset here. I'm going with New England here to win a playoff game here. I've then got Cincinnati and Baltimore, another divisional matchup. I've got Cincinnati winning that one. I think Cincinnati is a cut above Baltimore here. Even though I think Baltimore will have a really good season, I still think Cincinnati is just a better team than them. So I think they should win that one. Then I have Chargers versus Tennessee, pretty much like the rest of everybody, except for I think Cody, you had the Colts winning a game. Or did you? I don't remember if you did or not. But
I do not.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Yeah, nobody has like a lot of faith in the AFC South. Have Chargers winning that. So now you have Vegas versus the Chargers in a big divisional game there. I have Vegas coming out on top of that. I think that this is Vegas' year to lose. They're gonna be tough to beat. They haven't played like any of their starters in any of their preseason games yet. So that, you know, we haven't really gotten to see exactly what the Vegas has to deal with, but the Raiders have been. So I mean, as far as we know, the Raiders' backups are better than everybody else's backups because they've won all those games. So like, that doesn't really tell you a lot. But I think they're going to be. I think that the Raiders' offense is going to be very good next year. So I'm excited to see it. I then have Cincinnati, New England. I think that's where the wheels fall off for New England. I don't think they get past 2. They don't get 2 playoff wins. I have Cincinnati moving on. I could see Cincinnati not having much trouble with Baltimore or New England. So I just kind of have New England beating up on Buffalo after losing both the games to them in the regular season. I'm just something flipping, just winning. They won on that given day. So my conference championship is Vegas versus Cincy. Just don't have them going back. So I've got Vegas I've got my 1 seed in Vegas going to the Super Bowl here.
Dude, ever since you started your take, man, dude, my allergies have just kicked up. I've been sneezing the entire time. Look, I got the cap on. I'm sneezing like you are just.
I can't
you
help
now
if you're allergic.
bullshit.
Yeah, you're allergic to hot takes.
Good
apparently.
Lord, boy. I mean, you just it sounded a little.
Counter on the.
Yeah. Well, Ben, I commend you because you followed through on what I was talking about with hot takes. You got to take the hot take far enough where it means something if you are wrong.
Well, the other thing is like the biggest thing was getting Buffalo out of there first. Because I have Buffalo out of there, I can justify Cincinnati moving on, and I can also justify Vegas moving on. Is pretty much where it goes. But I genuinely do think that Buffalo will find a way to screw it up. And so I feel like what will end up happening is like, oh, we've beaten this team twice already. It'll be easy. And they'll just come out and get popped in the mouth. So that's kind of my take, is that they get popped in the mouth, go down big in like the early half, that first half, and then they manage to start making a comeback, but just don't quite have enough left and just lose by like a field goal or, a touchdown here. So just a close game, but a loss. And so after that, yeah, I mean, I've got Vegas beating all of those teams. Either way, like, I mean, that conference championship game will be killer.
Yeah.
Cincinnati versus Vegas would be an absolute killer to watch. I mean, all of our conference championship games. Oh, it absolutely would be a killer game to watch.
No, it wouldn't, because I'm gonna watch, however many 60 minutes of Eli Apple just get freaking mossed the entire game by Devontae Adams off the ball. That's not a good game to me. That's not fun to watch.
But so yeah, I've got Vegas going to the Super Bowl. So
I mean, on paper, I understand why you're making this take. I mean, they've got the pieces all together. It's just like, can they? Like, they've got all the pieces.
They haven't proven it yet, though.
Yeah, well, but they've all proven it individually. It's about, can it all happen together on this team and in this year? It's not like some of the other teams that we've talked about where you've got the pieces and then you add something that you think is going to solve the problem. And then, you're relying on a player to step up and play a better season than they've probably ever proven that they can play to, like, justify something. But these are all, like, veteran players that know how to play. Some of them have been in winning situations, and some of them have been in kind of topsy-turvy situations. But, like, it's all, like, I guess, like, it's a room full of adults, and they just got to figure it out. Like, they're not putting their hopes in a rookie, or they're not putting their hopes in some, like, third-year kind of player. Like, it's just a bunch of dudes that are all on the same team together, like, looking to accomplish something.
Yeah. I'm real big on Hunter Renfrow as the true number 2 wide receiver there now, because I mean, he was the number 1, but now you bring Devontae Adams in there. And he always was truly a number 2, either play in a slot but don't play like with the best corner on you, because you can't double anybody on this team. Like, if you double Devontae, Waller or Renfrow is going to be open. So, like, and you can't double any of the other two. So, like, I think it's too hard to cover that team if they're spread out. And Josh Jacobs is no slouch in that backfield either. I think Jacobs is probably the weakest spot on that team, but he's definitely not a slouch by any means. I mean, he's a workhorse. He's one of those big backs that'll go in there and get the job done. So, I think they have it in them.
All right.
Don't know about their defense yet, but offense for sure.
Hey, we'll get there when we get there. All right, so now that we've gone through NFC and AFC playoff pictures for everybody, we're going to just quickly sum it up and talk about our Super Bowl matchups and how we see that shaking out. Ben, I think because you had such a sizzling hot take to end the AFC picture, would you like to start us off?
Yeah, I've got Las Vegas versus New Orleans in the Super Bowl here. I'm very torn on who to give this one to. If both of these teams end up there, their offenses have played absolutely lights out. The question to me is, what does Las Vegas' defense look like? And because of that question mark, I have to give it to the Saints as winning it. If the Saints take care of business and make it that far, I think their defense and offense are within it, or top 5 in the league, on both sides of the ball. So I have a tough time going against them in that case. Even though I've talked so highly about Vegas, I just can't. I can't go against the hometown boys at this point. I got to give it to New Orleans. I think it'll be close. If I had to put a score, probably go like 31-24, New Orleans, if I had to pick a score. And yeah, I think they take home that Super Bowl trophy. It comes back to New Orleans, and we party for about a week and a half. Party like it's Mardi Gras. probably party till Mardi Gras, honestly.
Backs of crawfish.
So that's where I got them.
All right. I like the idea of let's all call scores. I think that's a nice little tiebreaker.
Oh, I got you, man.
Nice little
I got you
tiebreaker.
then. So, based off of my bracket, as everyone knows, I got the Miami Dolphins versus the Saints. I think it's going to be a really great game. I think overall score, top to bottom, by the end of the game, I think we're going to have a 35-20 score line. Saints coming out on top, bringing the Super Bowl home. It's going to sound a little biased. It's not, I promise. If the Miami Dolphins can get up to what I think they can, and if the Saints can actually play how I think the Saints are going to play, I think it's going to be a good matchup going into the Super Bowl, especially with the Dolphins trying to prove themselves. But I think it's going to be too difficult for them to get over the hill that's the Saints defense. And I think the Saints offense is just way too overpowered. They'll be battle tested, battle ready from facing all the teams that they'll have to face just to even get there. And I think they bring it home.
All right, 35-20 to Ben's 31-24. So you got them winning by a little bit over 2 touchdowns. Griffin, as the last person with a New Orleans team in it, let's go ahead and hear your prediction.
All right, so I've got the Buffalo Bills going up against the New Orleans Saints. Look, Buffalo, they have an excellent roster. I mean, top to bottom, they look solid. Even on defense, they look good. They really do. But New Orleans just looks better. I mean, let's just be honest. New Orleans, I mean, I'm not trying to sound biased because, I mean, I have a team, but I just look at that roster for New Orleans and I look at the depth chart for Buffalo, and I mean, I think it's going to be an excellent game. I think it's going to be a down-to-the-wire game, but, I mean, I think the defenses are going to make the biggest difference in this, and so I believe that New Orleans is going to take it, and it's going to be a 28-27 victory.
Whew.
Ooh.
By the skin of their chinny chin chins.
You're thinking maybe a come from behind New Orleans win.
Yes.
Okay, I like it.
All right, and for me to round
It's
it
not
out,
going to be a 28-3 comeback. It's not going to be that at all, I promise.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the Drew Brees days of coming back to win down by like 20 plus, they're long and gone, man. That was like a Drew Brees X Factor special right there.
No, I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a comeback of like they're down by 2 scores.
Down
Fair.
by 2 scores, they limit some touchdowns. The defense holds them, and they're able to start clawing it back. And so they're clawing it back slowly but surely, and then they get the ball last and just walk it off, and the defense just stops them. I like that. It'd be a good one. All right, Cody, you clearly will have a different Super Bowl winner.
Yeah.
What you got?
Well, so I do have the common with Griffin. I have Buffalo in there, but facing the other highly touted NFC South team in Tampa Bay. And for me, I'm pretty sure, I'd have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure this is the exact same matchup that I had last year in my predictions. If I remember
You either had
correctly.
Buffalo. I don't remember if you had Green Bay or Tampa Bay. You had one of those two.
I'm pretty sure I had Tampa Bay and you had Green Bay as your
Maybe.
NFC representative.
I think I remember seeing Tampa Bay in the championship for you, Cody.
Yeah, so I think I'm running it back. I think maybe I was just a year early last year. We'll see. So I've got Buffalo and Tampa Bay. And again, at some point, it's going to be Buffalo's year to put it all together and, like, just understand what they've been doing wrong all these years and put it all together and bring home a championship before they get their brand new stadium that they're very excited for. And then the other sweet revenge part of this is Buffalo gets to exercise their demons against Tom Brady, which I think would just be icing on the cake. And if the NFL loves anything, they love storylines, and that would definitely be the storyline going into that game for like 3 weeks. So I've got Buffalo beating Tampa Bay, sending old Tommy Boy into retirement this time. And I'm gonna
Actually, this time.
I'm gonna give it to them 24-21. This feels a lot like a Buffalo Kansas City kind of game where it's just going to be whoever gets the ball last is more than likely going to make the plays to put it together. So I see Buffalo eking it out and see if I'm right this year versus last year. So it's kind of how I see it shaking out.
All right.
So
may the best man win with his takes.
Yeah, we got a ton of content across these 3 episodes, no doubt. So obviously for people watching at home, don't feel pressured to watch all of this all at one time. This is going to be a long slog of videos to get through, but also down in the comments, put any suggestions that you have for us of things that you'd want us to talk about in any like mid-season content. We'll try to put some of that together as the games are played and see.
And we want your predictions.
Yeah. We want your predictions, but also your take on our predictions and things that you'd like to see us talk about throughout the season as these games unfold and as we are proven probably very, very wrong, because I'm sure that there's going to be a team that we completely pooped on that's going to be way better, and a team that we thought was going to be really good that's way in the dumps. So happens every year. You can only get so much right in the preseason, but this is always a really fun exercise, and we had really good response last year. So looking to get that again, and hopefully with a couple more voices on the screen, it'll be a little bit more engaging and a little bit more to digest and a little bit more to discuss. So as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you at some point in the mid-season. Thanks, guys.